So the logical question that some writers, typically newbie writers, are asking, and when I say newer, I'm talking about under 5 years in business or brand new, you have been looking at writing, you love writing as a child, you got the best grades in language arts, even in literature, even in history, because we all know history is really about just writing and regurgitating information in a better way to show that you have an understanding of what you're learning. But you have wanted to be a writer, you're trying to scale your writing enterprise, you're trying to scale your creativity, but you're asking yourself, in the age of AI, is this actually a legitimate skill set that's needed when ChatGPT can write general content, can write outlines in record time? And so the answer is yes and no. Will writers be obsolete? Generalist writers will be obsolete. If you do not have a true passion and mastered skill set for the craft of writing, creativity, strategy, innovation, then yes, your roles may be obsolete. But if you are a writer that has a higher level skill set, like what I'm about to share in this video, then you are not going to be obsolete. In fact, you, my friend, are going to be more in demand, like I have been as the founder of Tiffy G Writes for the past 8 to 9 years, okay? So much has changed in that time. And what I'm seeing is that I'm being forced into an era where I'm serving higher level clients. I'm talking about contracts that are $46,000 a year, $56,000 a year, tech contracts, bigger elevated contracts. Is forcing me to stop playing small with small businesses and to really go after the serious companies that desire stronger communications. Yes? So let's talk about it. This is a jam-packed video. So I brought up this topic because I was doing my journal. I was journaling right here, like literally, here's my journal, okay? It's dated today. And one of the topics that I had was, do you feel as if your job is replaceable by AI? And so this is how I got the title, Become an AI-Proof Copywriter. I'm a copywriter by trade. Now, a copywriter is simply somebody that writes words that get people to take action. Most of the time, that's going to be some type of buying decision. And so copywriters have to be advanced in marketing strategy. They have to be advanced in buyer psychology and human psychology. And they have to be able to get people to take swift action. What I've seen in my business in the last year is that we've seen a decrease in new clients and an increase in longer term clients that have up-leveled their contracts, that have come in to work in the management consulting marketing agency and have come in to work with me one-to-one. And they came for emails. They wanted to elevate their website. Then they wanted to do SMS. Then they wanted to go ahead and do their blog and search engine optimization. And for me to take the entire fractional strategist role on for them, so these CEOs could invest in retreats, so they could invest in expanding their enterprise, doing some video production, doing some advanced education for their enterprise, and leading their sales and development team, leading their small team that they already have, okay? And so as a writer right now, if I were you, I would cut the crap. I would immediately understand that you're probably not going to be servicing a small business that doesn't understand the value of marketing. So I would just not even worry about them. I would position myself as an expert to go ahead and serve a higher caliber of client. And if you're a beginner and you're like, well, how on earth am I going to do that, ma'am? Well, you're going to invest in some coaching. You're going to invest in mentorship. You're going to invest in your skill set. And to be honest, you can't do that for free. I'm just going to be honest. If that's the brutal truth, becoming a freelance writer, becoming an entrepreneur is an investment. It takes investing. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. You see these channels and these videos where it's like, oh, low cost business, and this is just all vanity. The reality is, if I were to tally up everything that I've invested in the business and will continue to invest, because I'm looking at making some strategic moves and buying some Instagram real estate for some strategic positioning for our brands. And the reality is that nobody is in business and they don't invest in the business. Nobody is in business and thinks that they're not going to put any cash into it. Okay, that's just the reality. That's number one. Come to the table with that understanding. Number two, understand that though you may have your job today, you may not have it tomorrow. Jobs these days, it's not like the 40s and 50s where you had pension for life and everything's good, understand that your job may not be secure. And so what you want to do, you want to diversify your own skill sets as your assets and actually get used to serving clients at a higher level. Now, you may be asking, okay, what are those skill sets that writers can take on? So the number one that I preference and teach, email retention marketing. And if you're like, how the heck did you get into that, sis? How did you get into that? That sounds like some top level corporate America communications, and it is. I got into it by writing. I started my blog, www.tiffygwrites.com, and I would write. I would write to learn to write, and that's how I did it. And I started writing about email marketing. Before you knew it, I was sharing these blogs in Facebook groups. I was sharing these blogs amongst my contemporaries, working with companies like Black Women Hustle, Black Girls Sunscreen, African Ancestry, working with law firms, working with marketing agencies, working with a company that was sold off now called Express Writers. But you don't see some of these startups the way you did when I started. And so this is where it's like you're gonna have to take on the cost of doing some mentorship, because what I learned working with marketing agencies and startups in those early phases was how quickly search engine optimization can get a business off the ground. That's why to this day, I just published a new blog, actually, I'll link it down below. It's on real estate marketing in Africa. I publish blogs consistently over the past 8 years because I understand my business isn't here for vanity metrics. My business is incorporated to drive revenue. So this isn't a hobby for me. This is an actual full-scale enterprise that I will pass down to my children, and am already teaching them how to come in and do community management, how to use creative writing, how to write a blog post, how to leverage Instagram to drive website traffic, okay? These are all things that I've written about on my blog over the past 8 years, okay? And so as a newbie copywriter, get out of the generalist small ball mindset. If you're thinking small, AI can replace you. I'll tell you that right now. So instead, you need to preference retention email marketing. Take a course from HubSpot. It's free on email marketing. Come back, invest in mentorship from a marketing consultant, because this is the eyes you need inside the business to understand how to set up your business, okay? This is like, for example, I take mentorship from a variety of people over the years, but one in particular, she literally sold some of her IP so that I could integrate it into my business, okay? This is what it looks like to be a freelance writer in 2025 and beyond. Being willing to treat the freelance writing as a business. If you only see freelance writing as a side hustle, or you just see it as a hobby, you're just gonna type a few blogs and then that's it. That's not going to sustain you long term. And if you're looking for long-term sustainability, a viable option to replace your 9-to-5 income, then you're going to have to view freelance writing differently, view it as a business. And that's why I really don't even like the term freelance writer, but I say it here for lack of a better term, because a lot of people, if I were to say I'm a retention marketing strategist, you would kind of be like, that sounds very technical. I don't want to do that. What is that, right? That's probably what you're thinking when you hear that. And so I have to give you the baby steps that you're used to before I advance you to the next level, like we do in Black Educators Amplified, which is our bespoke consulting program. And so this is your invitation to actually come in as a writer inside of Black Educators Amplified. Have us actually look at your history, look at your workload, look at everything you've been doing, so we can package it into a full throttle enterprise offer. Because once you do that, you're going to be able to come into these countries like Costa Rica, Cabo Verde, Seychelles, South Africa, Kenya. You're going to be able to come into these countries as an entrepreneur versus as somebody that's like just coming in like, oh, I'm just like a side hustler. They don't want to hear that, okay? It's either go big or go home. Like, that's the name of the game in writing and creativity and communications. If you want your business to sustain you long term, if you want freedom of your time, you want business ownership, you want to own your own business and run it like an expert, you're going to have to treat it as such, which means investing in your business, investing in your skill set. And I believe that you're worth it. Whatever mind hacks, whatever mindset blocks are going through your brain right now that's like, no, you're not worth it, no, you're just a worker, no, you're just a 9-to-5er, whatever microaggressions that you encountered in corporate America, I'm giving you permission right now to set them on fire and throw them out the window. Literally, let that stuff burn. Burn, baby, burn, because you are worth it. You are worth the investment. And if you don't invest in yourself, who will? This is literally the stage where you are going to make it or break it in the next 5 to 10 years. I was doing another journaling exercise that was like 15 years ago, where was I at? 15 years from now, where do I want to be? And I'm so thankful that I took the steps to invest in marketing, to invest in my own professional development, to invest in my business, incorporate it and see it as such. Because man, it is still paying off to this day, almost being a decade in as an entrepreneur and having the network, having the strategies, One of my contemporaries that we collaborated with on, it was like a media platform, a marketing media business development platform for Black women. And I came in and wrote the copy for the blogs, and I write it all the time. And then they phased out and did like another, and I'll link down some of the blogs below because she actually has another one that we phased in and worked on together to talk about email marketing. But I'm so glad when I look back 10 years ago that I did that, because if I wouldn't have invested in those courses and those programs and myself, my own skill development, listen, if you don't take anything else away from this video, your IP, your intellectual property, your brain, the experiences you have is the niche, okay? When people come in to work with our agency, corporate contracts come in and put down $30K, $40K, $50K to work with us. They're investing in my brain essentially. So they're saying, hey, your brain is really good at seeing the gaps in marketing and business development. I want to take your brain, and I don't want anybody to be able to use your brain for this specific industry. Come in, I'm gonna put you on a contract for a year. Your intellectual property is literally everything that you have when you'll have corporations, companies, Black-owned businesses, by the way, because we need to get out of this strange mindset that it's only Europeans that have thriving businesses. 90% of our clients, actually 100% of our clients in 2024 have been Black-owned businesses. And across the longevity of our firm, 90% of the businesses that have worked with us have been Black-owned businesses, okay? And so when you have that IP, that intellectual property, that experience to go over, oh, this person has worked with 220 different businesses. Oh, this person has been in tech, has been in entrepreneurship, has been in the startup scene, has been in e-commerce. Let me use that intellectual property for my business. Let me put you on a 12-month contract, 24-month contract, 5-year contract. This is the type of growth that you can see, but only if you invest in your intellectual property, okay? Only if you learn to package your expertise in corporate, package your nonprofit expertise, your social work expertise, your healthcare expertise. Only then can you go in as a consultant, as an entrepreneur in this larger capacity, close contracts, and build a larger legacy for your community and for your children after you. So visit the link in the description to apply to work with us in Black Educators Amplified, or to apply to have us write your copy in the agency. We have a strenuous intake questionnaire so that we can see if you're going to be the right fit to pre-qualify you. And so we invite you to go ahead and click the link in the description. I look forward to working with you. Talk soon. Say bye, G.